Now we'll talk about Reconsidering Resistance and Incorporation by Richard Butch. Commodification indicates an ongoing expansion of commercial exchange into all areas of human activity, gradually turning all of human interactions into universal markets. Trading in identity, bodies, and personal or public services crosses the moral threshold and transforms social relations traditionally regulated by values that transcend money into exchange relations regulated by money. Commercialism is argued to shape and corrupt people's thoughts, behaviors, and relationships as they participate in monetary exchanges and inhabit the cultural environments built for these purposes. The masses are dominated by the commercial culture. We also see a critique of the commercial leisure class or mass cultural class, such as attacks on aesthetics, community and class consciousness, a lack of support of the arts as seen as less valuable to these communities, and described as having a moral debasement for their culture. We see that personal areas are commercialized, such as renting wombs and purchasing pregnancies, patenting of genes in animals, advertising in schools, packaging of ethnic identity, such as cultural appropriation, and privatizing public services. We have to think of leisure activities as more than just simply entertainment. Leisure activities can also be a form of resistance. Forms of art, style, deviance, hanging out or not working or producing are forms of deviance. There is a rejection of the Marxist claim of false consciousness when thinking about leisure as resistance. This reinterprets commodities to produce their own subcultures, serving their own interests. And so instead of just working to produce a good for money to survive, people are producing goods to interpret their own culture and bring pleasure to themselves. Incorporation is a dominant cultural response to challenges and the means to overcome them. These subcultures are often subverted by being commodified and resold as fashionable styles, strip of their more dangerous content. Industries strip or tame the original symbolism and substitute values compatible with consumption. Advertisements of large corporations are co-opted their subcultural slogans. When people make do, is when they carve out space of their own in a cultural sense and make do with what cultural autonomy they can hold on to. And this is a form of oppositional culture. And often oppositional culture is not labeled as resistance, but it should be. A person engaging in oppositional culture has a sense of cultural autonomy, able to use their own power. Those using oppositional culture create their own use and meaning out of products. And they do not give in to false consciousness by using those products. However, they do not overthrow the world of corporate power. There is a need to analyze the relationship between resistance and incorporation to look at their interaction. We see simultaneous domination and resistance happening. We also see cultural opposition and hegemony happening at the same time. Cultural hegemony acknowledges concentrated power, but also allowed for space in which people might create and sustain their own ideas different from or opposed to, and on occasion prevailing over those promoted by concentrated power. Alternative and oppositional cultures resist domination. Hegemony is always contingent and is a continual struggle that is never certain or final. That resistance, without using that word, is in this essay is perennial, although the degree of it often varies historically. The incompleteness, contingency, and struggle are necessary concepts to account for historical change.